everyone, Natissa here on the subtropical Florida Gulf Coast, Zone 10, and welcome to the 2024 February garden tour of the fall and winter season. And just so you know, I do have a cold, so I'm going to be taking this tea with me, and if you hear fluctuations in my voice, that is why. We are coming to the end of our fall and winter season very shortly. So this is some of the last looks of the garden of this season. And I was thinking what we can do is start looking at some of the things that honestly, in some cases I forgot to show, or just because they haven't been growing in this main gardening area here. And there's just so much to show in the garden that, you know, this is the time to really catch you up on that, and you can see everything that's been going on. While I sip this tea, let me show you the passion fruit that is growing up our tree in the front yard. I can't believe I have not really brought this up because it's been such a success this year. It might be hard to tell on the footage, but this one passion fruit vine is going all the way up to the top of the trees, and the tree is just loaded, or I should say the vine itself is loaded. We've lost so many fruit to the critters, to the wind, but still we have also been eating so much, and by looking up at that tree every day, it looks like it's just never lost a fruit. There's so much. So that has been a major success that I just thought, man, I didn't show you that. I have to show you that. All right, tea in hand, let's get walking. So coming out of the front yard area, we have this crazy looking bed. Collards look really good though. This is, I admit, type of bed that I just kind of forget is here because it's not in the main growing area. This looks like, it's hard to do this tour with my tea in my hand, but I'll do the best I can. It looks like multiple tomato plants in there, but no, there is just one, and I have not pruned it, obviously. I haven't done anything to it, and it's just growing up all over the place. I don't expect to get fruit from it, but it was just an experiment because I wasn't sure what I could grow here. The original thing I grew here in this bed was actually this Chinese lettuce called Celtis or Celtis. It's one of the original things I've planted in this bed here in my I'm Planting Everything video. And then we have, of course, these wonderful looking collard plants that I call free plants, basically seedlings from the garden. I think this is another one over here, another collard. And I just had extra seedlings grown up in the garden and stuck them in here, and now we have full plants, along with a purple kohlrabi that looks like it is maybe starting to bulb up there. But yes, it actually looks pretty nice considering. I do need to harvest those collards. Again, not in my main growing area, so it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. But I do have to show you this. Our borage plant has bloomed. It looks so nice, so beautiful. And a Cuban pepper. I don't know how good that is anymore. I forgot about that. And a plant we'll be talking about in our future videos. All right. Off to the main part of the garden. So here we are at the main entrance. I am seeing the nasturtiums spilling over and the flowers showing. That was my hopes and dreams, and it's still going. And the other one on this side is still doing the same. Just the lemongrass kind of got in the way there, and I didn't really anticipate that. But I can always trim him back. It's starting to go to seed anyways, and I don't really want that coming up in the garden all over the place. But coming over to this bed, a couple things to show. My Indian bird gherkins from the Rebel plant video of the the Fall Rebel seedling video I did. I can't believe it. You know, I love cucumbers, and you know, I even forgot that this plant was here because I got so caught up in harvesting a lot of the fall and winter veggies that I've been so excited about, and also because fall and winter vegetables are kind of, it just feels like there's a shorter window of time for us. So when it's here, I'm eating it. And so I forgot that this was here, and I only picked maybe one or two. What's really neat is I mentioned in my everything I'm planting for spring video, I mentioned I had a hard time growing cucumbers. And I had somebody comment from Orlando telling me a variety that works very much for them. It was the Marketmore cucumber. So I might be giving that one a try, perhaps in fall, because oh my gosh, spring and summer is gonna be nuts. That's where most of my vining plants are. But yeah, it'll be neat, interesting to try another variety and see if maybe that will also do here very well. Something my husband and I do wonder though is we have oak trees here around our neighborhood, and in the springtime you get those little green caterpillars hanging from them, and you know, they only appear hanging from the tree in spring. But I will say this, is that I think they're here all year round because I see them on the plants all year round. But I'm saying that because I have a real hard time growing actual cucumbers. And there's a gardener I know that lives here not too far from me who grows cucumbers with no problem. And she says she has no oak trees in her yard. So I'm wondering if that can be a factor. And I'm just interested in knowing, you know, I don't know. Can you grow cucumbers? Are you struggling? Are there oak trees in your yard? I don't know. It's just a theory we had, and it's just interesting that she can grow them and she does not have oak trees in her yard. Just a thought. My beloved Indian burr gherkin, no matter what, they'll always be one of my favorites. A future harvesting in the garden. All the sugar cane. Look at that. It is very tall, taller than my banana plants. I'll have to get a picture next to this thing. But yeah, we gotta harvest all of these. They look like they're doing pretty good. They're all along the back, and they are dying back because they do that in this time of year, and that's how you know it's time to harvest them. And in this bed too, our experiment, our planting one potato, and pretty soon, I mean, it could be the colder weather. It looks like there's a little something going on the edges of the potato plant. But as soon as this thing dies back in a couple of months, we'll see the conclusion of that experiment. Probably sometime in April, I'm guessing. All right, along this bed, remember, trying to show you things that are new. Oh, and believe it or not, see these two plants? The first spring planting, it's sunflowers. Yeah, for the first time ever, I've planted sunflowers in starts, and gosh, I mean, I knew they grew fast, but they grew way too fast for their little started pots, so I had to get them out here in the garden. And yes, I am growing these mammoth sunflowers on these tall raised beds, and that is because my dog, Minu, who is actually not out here with me today, she likes to eat those, and I'm trying to protect them, but we will see. There's also another one. Oh wow, look at that. The nasturtiums, I have to stop. But there is another sunflower plant right amongst all these crazy collards and tomatoes that I need to, I don't know if I'm going to do anything with them at this point besides eat them, but this one is definitely a lot smaller than those ones there, and no surprise because, yeah, it's growing amongst all this in the bed. But we'll see. In this bed here with our kale, I put another one on this bed, and something did get the one right here. I would not doubt if my dog did that. My husband says, oh no, she didn't, but I don't know. There is a log here, and if she smelt it, she probably hopped up and took it. I don't know. But one will probably be enough because these are those large mammoth sunflowers. So, oh, I hope that one at least makes it. I did put another one over here near the bench area. And yeah, there's a little barrier in front of it, but that's not going to stop me now. I do want to go back to this bed now that I talked about the sunflowers. I just wanted to show them all to you. In this crazy collared bed with the beautiful nasturtiums. See the red Russian kale? I know I'm holding my tea in my hand. It's really hard to point things out in this tour. But yeah, those red Russian kales, I've mentioned that we make kale chips out of them. And I do want to say, so if you're making kale chips, a lot of people I notice use the curly kale, but I don't grow curly kale. And the reason why is because one of my dreads in harvesting is encountering the bugs that are under the leaves and just encountering bugs in general. And I've noticed a lot can hide out in the curls of those kales, and I just don't even want to deal with it. And honestly, that red Russian kale is curly enough and can have things hiding in it. But I just wanted to bring that up, so in case you were thinking of making kale chips and you thought, oh, red Russian kale. I mean, you can make chips out of it, but they just get really super flat and flaky. And I can definitely see curly kale doing much better. But I grow this for my sake so I can actually handle being out in the garden and harvesting. Hey, do what you gotta do to garden, and that's what I gotta do. So from this bed down to this one, yes, the bean plants have finally, oh wait a minute, there is a bean. See if I can put my tea down a second. Look at that. Oh, it's definitely not edible. It is just like, yeah, no, but still, that's funny. But the beans that we've harvested from, just the plants are just gone. But man, I just harvested a lot of this kale, and this is just going still. That is really nice. I never pointed this out, but I do have dill growing here, and I love dill, but I just haven't been picking from it as much as I had last year. I'm not quite sure why. But it is very nice, very feathery and fluffy, and I love the smell. Spinning you around a little bit. Aros Polio pepper, still holding its peppers there. Still harvesting some, as always. But it's already starting to grow out its new growth. So I need to trim this thing back very soon so it can be ready for spring, because this thing is, yeah, it needs it. Oh gosh, turning around. Before we leave the Titanic beds, I just wanted to just see, the Mizuna's still going. Oh wait, the Mizuna is going to seed. That's the first I'm seeing that. Put my tea down. There we go. Yep, that means it's flowering and going to send up its seeds. So I really need to finish eating that. So much in here. So lush. Turning to the other bed where the sun is coming out. Tomatoes. The homestead tomatoes. Nice and red in there. Our beautiful nasturtiums, of course. And going down the line. Very lush. But something I want to show that I haven't, and I can't believe I haven't. I have my tea tucked in my arm, so now I can point things out for you. But on the end of this bed is a purple Cherokee tomato. And I can't believe I didn't talk about it before, but a lot of these tomatoes in this bed have been a bit behind, because every time I put a seedling in there, some sort of critter would come and nip the seedling out, and I'd keep putting another seedling in. So whatever's there is the tomatoes that are just gonna be. But anyways, this tomato plant, I mean, it's not looking the best now. It's pretty much ending its time. But it was nipped by a bug, and it was nipped so bad. Honestly, truly, I don't know how it recovered the way it did, but it was like hanging by a thread. And I thought, well, you know what? Let's just bury that broken end, and I'm watering the bed anyways, and let's just see what happens. And tomatoes, they can produce roots from their stem, so it did root from that very horribly damaged area, and it has produced just a couple of tomatoes. But man, it was one of the things I forgot to show, and I just wanted to bring it up because sometimes we have plants in the garden that we think, man, no hope, and it just surprises you. But all it takes is just a little bit of intention on your part. Like I said, I did bury that damaged part. I did water it and kept it watered as I watered the garden. And I don't know, just proof on, gosh, you don't have to be an expert. You just have to give a little intention. We'll be coming back to him a little later. Let's just do a quick walk through this overgrown rock bed. A lot of disease on these tomato plants, like I mentioned before. I did intend to clean it up and trim it up, but I'm at the point where, you know what, spring and summer's coming. You know, we got to focus on getting room for our plants to do that. But look at all these. Our pigeon pea. Given lots of pigeon peas. It's just so pretty. Look at that. So tall, so beautiful, and so many pigeon peas coming. I love it. It's loaded with bees, in fact. There's a little bee. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Yep, the bees are waking up. Oh, here's another one. Yeah. Yep, this thing gets crazy. Just coming around, you know I gotta show it. Oh, the cabbage. Oh my gosh, I grew a cabbage. The timing, everybody, it's the timing. Before we were comparing it with fists. Now we're gonna have to do the expansion of my hand. That is looking really good. Kohlrabi's down in here. We might get some. Yeah, I know. I overplanted them, and then I took many from this pot here and moved it around the garden. That's where we got a lot of our free kohlrabi plants, as I like to call them. It was just seedlings from this container. But here is my prized kohlrabi. Oh yes, my giant white one. These can get, like, I've heard, was it like 10 pounds? But I don't think it's ever gonna get that big. But all my other ones got taken out by pests, so this one is planted out later, but we're gonna get some, and that is what I'm happy about. Radishes that are bolting, and I'm going to take you inside the patch. I got to show you something. Giant purple radishes in there. Now this one, look at that. Like about that big sticking out of the ground. And these are those little radishes that you eat, those little salad radishes, and this is huge, and it is because it is now going to seed. See that stalk? Whoop, there we go, that stalk. And you are not going to want to eat that. That's going to be very woody and not the salad radish that you're thinking of. That's what happens to radishes when you leave them in there way too long. Speaking of radishes, these are radish tops I chopped and dropped on the ground. And that is going to help put nutrition into the soil. And I did discover that I do like radish greens cooked. I mentioned in the tour before that I thought, you know, I don't even know if I like them or not, because I just take the tops off and put it in the garden to let the critters, you know, compost it down and that sort of thing. And that's great, and there's definitely value and goodness to that, and I'll probably still do that to a point. But I know I like cooked radish greens now, and even the thick stem of the radishes on the leaf, it cooks very nice and it tastes very good. So I might be intentionally eating from it a little bit more next year. So yeah, with your garden veggies, experiment with them, cook them different ways. Sometimes that's the key. So yeah, very nice. But it's amazing how quickly the bugs do start eating them down and breaking it down into the soil to put nutrition back into it. Because this was a whole stack of greens not too long ago. And here we are back to the beautiful tung ho plants. But yeah, I make tea out of the flowers. I'm thinking that this is a good stage for having the flowers at tea, because if you take the flower, well, first of all, I should say, notice the pollen in the middle. It's not quite opened up yet. And that might be a good stage to have your tung ho tea, because if you let the pollen get to be opened up like that, all fuzzy in there, I've noticed little buggies making their home inside of that pollen as I make my tea, and they're very difficult to get out. So I'm going to experiment more at using it for tea at that stage. Full tung ho. Oh, I love it. Look at that. Oh, my favorite. One of my favorites for sure. And more of the kohlrabies starting to do their thing. From where the tung ho is to right here. I had a ton of African potato mint. I had shown you in the past a couple times. It has completely died back, or has just gotten taken over by this dune sunflower. It is so cute, so beautiful, and those blooms last a long time, a number of days, looking good actually. And I've heard it's drought tolerant, and there's so many more buds coming on here. And yes, it has sunflower in the name. And yes, I have seen Minu nibbling on it a little bit. Not as bad as the actual sunflowers, so there must be something in here that she likes. But it is wild growing. It actually sort of sprawls along the ground. So yeah, hopefully it will outpace the Minu and her desires to eat it. I mean, so far it has. And remember what used to be here? The Napa cabbages. They've been harvested and they have been oh so good. More rutabagas I need to remember to take out. Some of them are a little smaller, and that's okay. In here, I mentioned that there are these large leaves, are some rutabagas, and they are actually plumping larger than they were last time. Yeah, that's decent. That's decent. Last week I mentioned how they were so little because they were getting outshaded by everything else, and that's not bad. I need to pick at those very soon before it gets too big and woody, so that's going to be happening. To the cornerstone bed. Yeah, like I said, I intended on cleaning up these tomatoes, but I've decided we're just going to call it, it was a good season. There's still a lot of tomatoes to be harvested. We'll just take what we can because we need to start cleaning up for spring and summer garden very soon. But what did bloom? I mean, those marigolds are beautiful, but that's not what I'm talking about. But what did bloom are the safflower plants. This is used as, a saffron substitute, and I have not done that yet, but they're just so cute. They look like these little, I don't even know, but they just get these little fiery tops on them. And they're just so nice to look at, but they do have some thorns, even though I did get the more thornless variety, but still. But yeah, I want to experiment with that, but I really like the way it looks. Something I didn't really show is the brandywine tomato. I mean, I just kept forgetting about it, honestly. And the plant is just horrible looking. I mean, I don't even really see any good leaves on there. And I've struggled growing this variety, and I've heard other people as well. But yeah, I'm even doing some tomato tasting that for the first time, trying different tomatoes, and I really forgot about this one, but this is the last one of my tomato tastings, so I'm keeping an eye on it. Coming from that brandy wine, we're definitely getting a lot of bolted lettuce. This is lettuce. At the end of its life, it goes up, 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 and it will produce some flowers. These are the buds, but it'll produce flowers, and then that will turn into lettuce seed. So that is what's happening here, but that looks kind of cool. You know, it's like the entranceway into the garden. I like that. We're gonna go in because at the beginning of this season, I have planted a seed packet of random heirloom tomato seeds, and we were just following the plants throughout the season to see what plant was going to be what, and today I can reveal to you the final tomato plants that we were waiting to see what they were going to be, and they are. So this tomato, I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but where it splits off into two main parts of the plant, this is the green zebra. And the one we've been waiting for with the cluster of tomatoes. Look at this cluster. This was the plant a couple of tours back where I showed you all those multiple blooms. And we have discovered, we think, what heirloom tomato this is. In that heirloom seed packet, let me just say, there was a White Wonder, Green Zebra, Orange Nebraska Wedding, Brandywine, and Purple Cherokee. So this tomato must be the Purple Cherokee. But I'm very puzzled by this, and the reason is that Purple Cherokee I showed you on the edge of the bed, it's hard to tell right now, but at its full ripe stage, it was that purplish pink color that you might know in Purple Cherokee tomatoes. And this one is more of a reddish orange color, maybe bronze. And I'll see if I can get the picture up and show you. It's going to be hard to tell in the picture, but they're just completely different colors. And that one over at the bed that I showed you that had the bug nip at it, and I, brought it back to life, so to speak. That is an actual Purple Cherokee, I know, because I got it from an actual seed packet of that variety. But this one's the mystery, from the mystery heirloom seed packet. And I just thought, do Purple Cherokees have different varieties within them? But, I mean, they're just completely different colors. Even as these Purple Cherokee tomatoes were developing, this one, hopefully you can tell, but it's a very pale green. And the other Purple Cherokee that I was talking about over there, as it was developing, it was a darker green tomato with even a dark, emerald green top. So it's just two completely different tomatoes. So I don't know. I still count this one as a mystery. That is it really a Purple Cherokee? I don't know. I did try it and it was good, but I'm just amazed. Look at that. Look at that cluster. Holy cow. I hope you can, yeah, there we go. I'll hold it still a moment. Yep, like I said, this is the one from that multi-blooms. That is nuts. I love it. No matter what, I love it. So there you go, all the heirloom mystery tomatoes revealed, and the winner is the Orange Nebraska Wedding. We have a lot of those. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. I thought that was pretty fun to follow them. And our green wave mustard. And I do want to say, if you have a cold and your nasal passages are blocked up, my husband ate some of this green wave mustard raw, and it's super spicy and hot, and he said that cleared everything up. So that wonderful green wave mustard, who knew? All right, I'm gonna go back because there's one more thing I want to do. And the one more thing I have to do, and I've been waiting all season, and I'm gonna do it with you today, and that is harvest some black carrots. It's one of my favorite carrots to grow, and harvesting carrots is one of the, I don't know, most exciting things, I think. But I will say, with carrots, if you've grown carrots, you know this, is sometimes you can see, you just don't know what you're going to get until you pull it out. Let's put it that way. You can look at the top and kind of get an idea, but you just won't know until you harvest it. And I need to start getting all these beds cleared out because I have a big plan for this area here for spring and summer. So let's harvest our first carrots of the season. Look at the tops, first of all. That's amazing. I am going to let some of these go to seed. All right. The diameter of this one feels pretty large, so we're going to go in. You ready? Oh no, the top came off. Oh, wait, here we go, here we go. Oh, look at that. Yes. It was so much in there that it broke the top off. I've never had that. Look at that. I'm so excited about this. Oh my gosh. I looked forward to this for so long. Oh, I'm glad you're here to check it out. Okay, we gotta do one more. It is dark to see, I'm sorry. But we're just gonna pull it out and I'll show you. This one was a little guy, he broke off. But I'm still excited. Third time's the charm, they say. Not bad, I'm not gonna complain. So this is what carrots do if there was probably a pebble in the way as it was growing. And it's just split off into two sections, but still very edible, and I'm still excited. Yeah, not bad. And there's still a lot more in there. I'm just gonna let some of them go to seed, but I'll be still picking a couple more as time goes on, but I'll need to do it soon because we're getting ready for spring already. As we're approaching the end of the season, my husband and I were just talking about how everything is looking really good in the garden, how there's been just so many harvests this season, and even the spring seedlings that, yes, I have the spring seedlings, they are also looking so good. And my husband just kind of said to me, oh, do you think now you are considered a master gardener because of all of this? And I just laughed and said, oh no, I won't claim that title. I won't do that, but I will say this. I'll take the title Master Casual Gardener because I am not a scientist, I'm not an expert. I just learn as I grow and learn from other people, and more importantly, I go and do it. And I learn hands-on and get the experience. And with everything that I know and don't know, we are growing so much, and I just feel like when people look to me in how to grow, I just feel like, oh, I don't know, I just do this, and it works, and I do it. So I will take the title Master Casual Gardener because I do feel like I've mastered that. I just do, and it does. You can call me MCG, Mick Gardner, I don't know. In all seriousness, nothing special, you just go and you do it and you learn, and you become good at what you do, even if you're not a scientist and can't rattle off all the facts. But I'll take the title Master Casual Gardener. On that fun note, enjoy this short video on just some of the big harvests that we've had this season. watching, and I'll see you in the next one.